Okay, welcome to Game 6 in the USA versus Austria Round 1 matchup. This is going to be Robert Mixer, USA, versus Marcus Rohringer, Austria, playing Lannister. Waiting for the game to start here real quick. Let's take a look at, here's the Austrian deck. Lanni Dragon, VD is the reset, versus Greyjoy Prince. Actually just saw Greyjoy Prince from the Austrian side in our last game. Alright, looks like they're still getting started there. And not surprisingly from Greyjoy, Valor Morgulis is the reset.
Hello again.
Hey. Alright, so it looks like having a few connection issues here. And then we've got two different, I don't know about what's deck legality here, but it's just I'm seeing the different colors pop up on Volan's deck.
Yeah, because
They don't have a World Cup.
yeah, I believe it's not legal outside of the World Cup. Yeah, because it would have Great Halls and Red Keeps, so based on the Conclave list, this would not be a legal Lanni Dragon deck. But World Cup is different for that, so yeah, so similar to last game.
Didn't, oh wait, timer didn't start until after they actually do their initial hands, right? Yep. Okay.
Yep. Yeah, so this one, similar to last game, we're at Greyjoy Prince, Balon, for the Lanni Dragon side. We'll also have a March to the Wall to affect setup, so it's something in testing that can definitely be an issue. We'll see how they play out. Main thing with the Lanni Dragon deck is it's just playing a lot of the big bodies and trying to be very efficient. Has Queen's Guard and like Gifts of the Widow. So certainly see how this plays out. Setups pretty good on both. We have Tyrion Hound, Western Fiefdom, kind of a classic Lanni setup from yesteryear. And then Alcine, Maester Windermere, and King's Road on Greyjoy. So draw is going to be pretty well set for Greyjoy.
Okay, at the gates, at the gates.
Yep. I expect because of Alanis, we'll be seeing Iron Gate hitting the board to be able to get the draw. And Lannister Dragon, they're going to grab Great Hall.
And that's their restricted.
Yep. Yeah, because the main thing is from their deck list is they have a lot of big bodies and high costed characters, so Great Hall just gives them the means to be able to just turn after turn keep dropping big guy after big guy. Because they'll be wanting to get out their Tywins, their Darios, and their Jamies, their Ilan Paynes, and Sir Gregors as cheaply and as efficiently as possible. And no surprise, Greyjoy going up first. So the big question is going to be if we have Balon turn 1 or whether they're going to have to dig. And hello.
Oh man, Alanis is so good. It's so ridiculous. What a card. At the gates is fetch a gate and draw a card. That's oh god.
So with 2 Kings Road and the Chuds are just dropping at this point. So the only question is which big is going to be hitting the board, unless Robert didn't draw any.
Which does seem unlikely, but
Yeah,
I guess it's possible.
because true to typical form, he's got Victarion, Asha, Balon, Euron as all good targets to be hitting the board here. All right, and we'll have Euron with Silence coming out, which of course will get another draw trigger. So as long as he sees the boats, he'll be drawing cards just fine. Ultimately, for Greyjoy Prince, the 2 biggest cards they want to see are going to be Great Kraken and Grey Ghost, because those are going to be the cards that are going to let them get over top of how big the Lanni Dragon board can get.
How different is this deck from the one we just saw from Austria last round?
The Greyjoy Prince, the plotline's slightly different. There's going to be Barring and Winter Festival, no weapons at the door. The big closeout plots are Rise of the Kraken, Win or Die, Summer's the last one. Event package, we've got 3 Risens, 2 Superior Claims, and 1 Support of the People, so there's no We Do Not Sows.
Wow.
On the flip side, there's not going to be any concern of negative attachments coming down. So on the Lanni side, they're just building out the econ further, getting a gold mine down and a plaza to be able to help undo any intimidate. And just Brown Bend Plum for the efficient 1-drop. So Great Hall not providing a lot of value here. But they still have 2 gold, so if they can get the Hound back to hand, Tyrion can fuel him right back onto the board. And even though Red Keep's not on the table yet, treachery is still a concern. So we've got Power Challenge opening it up, Stealthing the Hound.
And the prince is
Prince Balon.
Yeah, that's always it, right? Like,
yeah, Balon is what makes this deck be able to just close quickly, because Balon, if you see him early, it's just going to be a headache to deal with. You can usually close in 2 or 3 plots if you have him turn 1. And we have Silence dropping in Great Kraken, which is one of the big pieces here. So in this case, the question is whether to defend with Tyrion or just let this through. Alright, so yep. They'll block, stopping the win by 5. But winning by 2, they'll at least be able to get Intimidate off here.
Interesting that Robert chose to trigger silence before defenders were declared.
Yeah.
There's a chance. I mean, not a big chance, but there's a chance that if there's no like unopposed trigger, right, that you could see the Lannister playing lane that letting that go, and then you bring in the Kraken after defenders are declared to get the.
I still think even without it hitting the table, you block with Tyrion just to stop the Balon search.
Sure, that's fair.
But your point would just be there was no point to do it in the attacker's window as opposed to the
Yeah.
defender's window.
Right? Yeah,
Yeah.
it's very
It's kind
possible
of
I'm
like
missing
good
something, but
habits type of thing.
right, yeah, just don't show your opponent anything unless you have to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because it's also possible, like, if they block with Tyrion, if you drop in, like, a raiding longship, you then immediately delete them from the challenge.
Right, yeah, and that's something that your opponent would have to think about had you not let them know that you were just going to do something else.
You're giving information away for the decision he has to make in declaring defenders. Okay.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yep, so we have Karth standing up Tyrion. So between the stealth and just the Hound strength, he'll be able to get really 3 challenges through, potentially, on how the sequence goes, because the Tyrion money here is going to put him at 4 for 2 uses of the Hound.
Hey everyone.
Hello, hello.
Who's joining us now?
Hey, Eric.
Eric?
Yeah.
Great. So, like the big problem with Lanni historically in the last years or more has been lack of draw, right? And then you combine it with Dragon, and you're gonna burn through your cards even quicker, aren't you? So like, what keeps the cards flowing for this deck?
Main thing is, like, there's not a lot of draw. There's exchange of information to try and, like, fill up the hand, and there's, like, Pycelle for an insight trigger, but in general, to actually just draw cards straight up, there's not a lot in the deck.
You sort of get a little bit of free draw out of the gold mines if you put stuff like Friedman and Missandei in with it. But yeah, in general, there used to be like a weird engine where you could, back when you had play bottom, you could gold mine the
The
Hound
Hound,
in
yeah.
and then bring him back. But like for until they got all their shadows tech, that gave them very strong draw if they're playing shadows. Like getting draw out of Lannister was like literally like you manufactured draw in a multiple complicated step process. As
Alright.
opposed to, Targaryen, which is neolocation, get 3 cards.
Challenge-wise, just intrigue from Tyrion, pulling Maester Mirror, which is very big, because he can really, shut down some of these locations. However, First Snow of Winter is a concern, and Sir Ill and Pain can always hit the board and just start going to town. So it's a loss, but we'll see what this next plot brings.
How many is he running?
Of Maester,
Yeah, of Mirror.
yeah, it's a 3x. So it's possible it'll be seen. So
I feel
Winter
like my
Festival.
question was just answered a little bit there.
Unfortunately, Winter Festival into exchange, so Winter Festival's not going to get the 2 power. It's still going to be decent econ, though, to keep everything going. On exchange, we just get
All 4.
Reducer, Gates of the Moon, Bodyguard, and Treachery. That Treachery is going to be the biggest concern. The Bodyguard can also be annoying if they get one of the big 7-costers down. And already Silence flexing on the board by winning initiative there, along with the King's Road.
What do we imagine that Bob thought that the Lanni player was going to play here? Because I don't imagine you want to run this Winter Festival into a summer plot, right?
Yeah, because at least anticipating wise, maybe he was thinking for Snow of Winter might have dropped here to clean up the chuds.
It doesn't really make that much sense, though.
Yeah.
Since
No, because it
know.
hurts Lanny back quite a bit. I'm not quite sure. or whether he was just choosing Winter Festival over like flipping any of the others.
I mean, just like
Bar-
right,
Barring, I think, would have been like a good one to select here.
right. That's what my thinking too. Is just like you could just, essentially the same stats. You just flip out barring
Yeah.
and save this festival.
So this is a really good marshal, though. We have Balon and Drum hitting the board, so Balon's pretty much going to turn this deck on. So this is going to make defending very awkward since we have Great Kraken for stealth. And the Drum also can be a headache in this matchup because even like a Tywin cannot step in front of the Drum in military or power.
Yeah, this is one of those matchups where the Drum like really earns his niche pick as the 60th card.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, because even if you want to
the
like
Hound is like
Voltron,
the only non-intrigue target who can block Balon.
yeah, and
I
with
guess if they get noble lineage on Gregor.
Yeah, Gregor or Dario are the only ones that could really step in. So we'll see what gets marshaled on this side, but right now it looks like it's going to be the Euron Balon show.
Yeah, they're in kind of a position where you don't want to commit more to the board because you kind of want to play VD next turn, but also you can't like not play nothing because you're just going to fall so far behind. So it's a pretty weird spot to be in, I think.
And we have Jamie hitting the board here, which doesn't really help a lot. And this bodyguard is actually a rough play because now you're not threatening the treachery at all.
The bodyguard is really does a lot of things like negatively for the Lannister player here because they take away the gold, like you mentioned. Also, it wastes $1 if you plan on playing VD, right? So I can see it where they play VD and they keep 10 gold without Jamie, right? But if you play VD now, you're still getting rid of Jamie, and you have to repay for that bodyguard. It's a weird Marshall, I think. Yeah, I guess maybe he's just not gonna play VD. Although this board is so hard to see. Like how could you possibly not play VD against 4 characters that are really doing a huge impact?
Odd that silence is triggered here. I'm not sure why he's triggering it now.
That is really weird. I would agree with that.
Because I can't think of anything off the top of my head of how, outside of initiating an intrigue challenge, Lancer's going to pick up gold for the treachery, as opposed to just cracking the power challenge with Euron Balon, Stealth Hound, and then Grey Ghost.
Yeah, that's pretty. And not to mention that the Grey Ghost isn't really needed right here.
Yeah, because while they do have Plaza, being able to get 2 instances of Intimidate off is a lot more impactful than just the one.
Yeah, and you get 2 challenges out of Euron, right? Like it's 2 kneels. It's it's an additional challenge that you don't have to use any resources for. That's a really weird pre-challenges action there from Bob.
Now, sequencing-wise, we're going to have the power challenge going off with the Drum and Balon, Stealth and the Hound.
There's no use of the Grey Ghost either, which you don't need. You certainly don't need to use the Grey Ghost here, but it makes it even weirder that the silence was used pre-challenge.
So no defense, so we'll get our first Prince trigger.
Even the Drum didn't really need to go in that challenge, did he?
I think you put the Drum in just because Gifts of the Widow threatens Jamie or stepping in, but
don't you have Grey Ghost up,
yeah,
right? So if you make the challenge with Balon and they gifts, then you just Grey Ghost the Jamie.
Yeah, unless he's wanting to save Grigos elsewhere. I'm not quite sure the line. But we'll have the draw. Great Kraken just gaining a power, so he's going right into just aiming to win and close out this game as fast as possible. Grey Ghost triggering, I imagine either the Hound or Jamie is going to be selected here and then crack the military. Because the one good thing at this point is military on the swing back is not a concern. There's enough chuds.
Right, there is. It's just
Yeah,
feels
it does.
unnecessary.
it definitely does. And Gregos actually selects Tyrion as not being able to defend.
What was the fear there, right? Or
So he anticipates kneeling out Jamie and then winning an injury challenge with Elatus after. After. So this is the military is going to come down, kneel Jamie, and then you win the intrigue challenge.
Mm-hmm.
It's the sequencing this turn has been pretty poor, I think. This is you now, not only did you not intimidate another person, you now have to kneel a character to make the entry challenge that wouldn't have to have been knelt before. And this drum is kneeling, which they didn't really have to be kneeling. It's we'll see. Maybe he's got something up his sleeve.
Yeah, the good thing though is even eating a VD on the back end, like you can still keep Balon, Maester Windermere, and like depending on claim on military, like 1 or 2 reducers. Because like a Risen on Balon would be so backbreaking. Because that just further bumps up his strength. So we'll have Jamie on defense. Looks like Master Player forgot about Balon's effect because he put Ben Plum in as well. So that's going to hurt.
He was probably planning to kill Plum anyway.
Alright, well.
Save the reducer.
Yeah, and Plum
Or
will
he's
die.
expecting to use there's no way he's going to make 2 intrigue challenges now. Well, I guess he's going to make 2 intrigue challenges to use the Hound twice, I think. And so I don't think he was expecting to have gold anyway for Plum.
Yeah, in fact, it's possible at this point that maybe you don't swing the intrigue and hand the gold over, because you could stand either Tyrion or Jamie, get another intrigue off, and double use the Hound.
Yeah, but I actually don't think using the Hound twice matters now that I think about it, because you stand Jamie, he does 2 attacks, and then the Hound does the 3rd one anyway, and he ends up where he wants to be.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Yeah, so I think it's fair. You take the extra unopposed power and Great Kraken
Does
trigger.
the Hound really want to be
pick
in
a card.
hand? Yeah.
say that again.
Does it matter that the Hound is in hand? I think actually it's probably tempo negative if the Hound is in hand. There's not really.
Yeah,
The
Lannister player wants the Hound in hand, and he's going to make sure the Hound ends the turn in hand.
So my question is why?
Yeah, actually,
because
in
he's
this
going
board
to flip
state,
VD, I think.
VD doesn't
So
change.
if they play VD, the math doesn't change at all, right? You can
True.
either keep Jamie and the two little guys, or Tyrion and the 2 little guys. The only thing that's changing is that you have to pay for the Hound the next turn.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, and holding the 4 gold into dominance doesn't really benefit you compared to have the standing 6. So Gates of the Moon getting pulled out, that's not really a big deal.
Yeah.
Econ's still decent, and Lancer
Yeah,
still has a
playing
big
Gates would
money plot.
actually help
Yeah.
Robert,
Yeah.
because Robert's got a very good board, but he's going to get reset, and he doesn't have great econ.
I have to imagine the reasons happening. Like, I don't think there's a line that can happen where you do not at least reset here on the Lannister side.
Which Lanny big are you
Yeah,
keeping?
I think you have to keep Tyrion just for the fact that he's got a dupe, and Jaime is not essential for this matchup. Like, Jaime can certainly be good, but here you need as many power icons and big bodies as you can get. And even then, Balon, Grey Ghost, Great Kraken are staring you down.
yeah, he's gonna get so much equity from the VD. I can't imagine you're not playing it. No challenges made.
That's
What game are we watching here? What is happening?
so we will have to have a discard for reserve on Greyjoy's side, but at 7 power, like, I think even knowing VD's pretty much being flipped, you just Great Kraken and go.
Yep.
Yeah, now I wish that turn had been barring even more. It's fine. I mean, it's what a weird game we're watching. I don't know. Hard to figure out what's happening.
Well, how much did Lanny kind of leave on the table there by just going to
A
dominate?
lot. Because they already have power on their house card, so it's not like they're trying to like prolong the game by not gaining power. And like they put down they put Jaime down for essentially nothing that turn. Like nothing really was affected at all by having him there. He just got knelt, and that's it. He stopped and unopposed,
Mm-hmm.
and that's
Did he forget he had
not what
Plaza
you're.
or something? I mean, what? I don't.
I don't know unless
It's
he's.
possible that every single card in his hand is either too important to throw away or too low costed to stand Jamie. But those odds feel really
Yeah,
unlikely.
and worst case, like he should have had at least a card to stand Tyrion, and Tyrion again could have gotten double use out of the Hound. So we've got VD as expected, but into Iron Bank, so that hurts.
Yeah, Lone is going to be really good. I mean, Robert knows the matchup, so he it's very possible that he already has a dupe of the Euron or the Elenis, right? Like I guess it could be the Balon, but you don't really want to get rid of that 2 power. So
yeah, or he could have Vic or Asha in hand, in which case it's going to be even more of a left right.
Yeah, he clearly has a big and is quite happy to play the long game.
So on the VD, Lancer's actually going to keep Jaime around over Tyrion. Greyjoy still comes out just fine, keeping Balon, Maester Windermere, and the 2 Chuds.
Yeah, I guess it does make sense to keep Jamie around. There's a chance that you grab a noble lineage, and now he's a guy that can kind of oppose these Balon challenges.
Yeah. But depending on what Robert's got here, he can just reflood this board, and with like First Snow is the only threat at that point, and it doesn't really matter once you start slamming down the bigs. And Lancer's only getting 5 gold here, so it's not like they can really put all that much out, even with the Great Hall.
Is the Western Fiefdom a weird choice over? I mean, I know it's minor, but it's always interesting to me, like choosing between things like Western Fiefdom versus Rose Road.
There's
Passive.
still a lot of marshaling of Lannister cards you're doing, so it still fits. Because like Missandei and Friedman, you're almost never ever actually spending any money on.
Right.
Dario, the Great Halls are going to be the biggest factor there. So outside of like Plaza and Karth and Queensguard, Mercenary Contract, only a handful. Western Fiefdom can do a lot of work. Now we do have Ilan Payne hitting the board here.
With money for Queensguard.
Yeah. The
At
only
the
issue
very
is
least, he can kill off 2 of the Cheds here, which is nice, but not really crippling. Getting rid of the stealth is... I mean, I guess it's nice, but it doesn't make a huge difference because Balin's got stealth.
I was Robert. I'd just start kneeling out 3 deucers, try and get value for them.
That might be what
We're in Robert's action window
Lanni
here,
is
right?
waiting for.
And we have Gifts of the Widow for 3. So yeah, he's setting up the chopping block. Because the hope is to try and set up like a March the Wall and just chew through the chuds.
Yeah, and he
You
can
guys have a
force
few coaching
he can
notes
kill
here.
3 guys and then win a military challenge on offense, which is awkward.
So we're having an attempt to kill Maester Windermere.
Yeah, and Rob missed the opportunity to kneel both of his Cheds before getting one killed.
Having a Risen happen here. Kind of shocked by that. Unless he has another Risen, because holding a Risen to get on Balon, especially if you can drop out 2 to 3 characters in that 4 cost or above slot, and March to the Wall is not going to be as impactful. As long as Balon is not isolated by the end of the round, you're fine.
Steve's pointing out he may have a Balon dupe in hand, but the part of the benefit of Risen is the +1 on Balon, making him
Yeah.
even more unstoppable, right?
Yeah, because then that you're taking away the noble lineage on Jamie play, like then it doesn't matter. And what you want to do in this deck with Greyjoy Prince is just eliminate as many possible defenders as you can. We do have noble lineage hitting Jamie as well. So yeah, like, but we'll also see what we've got here. There is no gold on the Lancer side again, so even if there's Grey Ghost can be fired off in case there's any threat of gold coming in, which I don't think the deck, again, has any source outside of Tyrion to generate gold like that. Yep, and Asha hits the board with a dupe. And Alanis comes back out. Aaron Damphair. Which right now gets nothing. Odd that he hits the board when Ilan Payne will have a crack at him. But we'll just go right into challenges. So right now, just based on the boards, I don't think there's any good outs here for the Lannister player.
Is just thinking ahead. I mean, actually, like playing Arisen on Balon would be risky now, right? Wouldn't it, because of treachery?
No, the treachery can't touch events.
Okay.
And judgment would be the only cancel.
Thank you.
And since he doesn't run it, yeah. And another thing with this matchup is the Lanni Dragon deck has no answer to Great Kraken, and without Treachery or Red Keep, Grey Ghost is gonna just run this board. So they'll start off with just a military from Jamie for 5. I can't imagine this being anything but unopposed.
Were you a little surprised that he only did Pain twice?
Yeah, I was. I thought that. I mean, maybe he's saving the third one to try to stand him for use in challenges.
But isn't there even one more after that? Because he's only
Yeah, he could
stood
have
him
Plaza
once.
Pride too.
He's used
Unless
Dylan
he's
twice.
again, unless he's just holding those cards in hand, like he only tossed the ones he could afford to lose.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got 0 gold. I can't imagine that he needs to make plays now.
Yeah. We have an intrigue coming from Jamie, which, again, this is one you can just let go unopposed.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the only concerning one would be a power challenge, because Robert can get quite a lot here. But even then, like, you can just let him kneel out. Plaza's not going to be that impactful. Reverse Hulk with no Euron, it's efficient to silence it onto the board, but that's it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the other card in hand might be like a superior claim or something that he's happier to keep. So I think the fact that he didn't silence it in means that the other card in his hand is probably the better one.
Yeah. Yeah, right now, I'm not sure what's going to hit the board that's going to stop a closeout by at least next turn for sure. Because with BD burnt, like, Roberts rebuilt the board, he can just flip any 2-claim plot next turn and just go.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think that he can even really I think at best he can like stop one intrigue challenge here on defense, and Robert's gonna get 2 unopposed, 2 renown, 2 great kraken triggers, power claim.
Yeah, and
then if he wins Dom, that's a close this turn.
Yeah, and with the Hound kneeling out here, about the only thing I could see is maybe they'll take the discard, keep the Hound in play so they can possibly Plaza him, but even then, that doesn't matter. Like, this is open board.
Yeah, you defend the power challenge here to which I think lets him close this turn also.
Yeah, because you don't need them, because you can still, because now, especially with this board, you don't need Asha for the power challenge. You can lead off with the intrigue first.
That, and between Great Kraken and Grey Ghost, he can anyone who could block Balon can get either stealth or ghosted.
Yeah.
So no one can block Balon anyway.
Grey Ghosting,
I think
Jaime
he's gonna end on
Lannister.
14 though, because I don't think he can. Like he's gonna lose Dom unless his last card is Superior Claim.
Yeah, which is why, based on the sequencing, I lead off with Asha on an intrigue.
That's what makes sense.
And then swing the power, do the stand and draw, and yep. Like at that point, you should be able to hopefully find what you need.
Yeah, if Asha finds a Superior Claim here, then it's just done.
That's the
And
point.
this intrigue can just stealth Ill Pain. So yeah, like there's no way to defend
Oh, and
this
he let it through
challenge.
unopposed, which I think that
Yeah,
means he wins.
Didn't have a
Grey Ghost shut
choice.
off Jaime, stealth shut off Ill Pain. So not much to do on this one.
Like you don't
And,
even need to stealth Ill in Pain because there's no way to pump his strength enough to block Balon.
well, it's more so blocking the intrigue.
Well, yeah, the intrigue's
Yeah.
already unopposed.
Yeah, like there's no good answer here. So 1 by 5.
I think Balon just closes it here because he's going to get 6 power per challenge between unopposed and Great Kraken.
Yeah, no,
And
this
yeah, Robert's going to close this round unless there's something I'm missing.
yeah, no, he's got the numbers. This is a closeout unless there's something we're not seeing or missing. Oof, that actually it's kind of funny. It's not relevant, but pillaging Missandei, because Missandei can actually trigger into play from it.
Mm-hmm.
The Sunday could have gone into play.
Yeah. Because it's when discarded from hand or deck, she can just enter play. And that gave just 1 extra card now because they didn't take the reaction, that interrupt. So that was 1 more card Asha got to see. But the Missandei, outside of just stopping that card, does nothing to this board. Because Balon's just going to stealth the Hound. So yeah, up to 13 power, and then just
the
the
window, if there
unopposed
was a
military.
superior claim, was what, right
Yeah,
after
we're
winning?
past.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would have been in the Great Kraken reaction window and the agenda trigger. But it's all over on this swing. Because it's going to be unopposed Great Kraken before you even get to Renown.
Yeah, so we're kind of seeing the power of Grey Ghost here that we didn't see in the last matches that I just completely take Jaime out of. Like, Jaime was kind of like the one possible answer to Balon, and Grey Ghost takes care of that.
Yeah, that's the other reason why in the previous match I was surprised they chose to get rid of Grey Ghost just because of how impactful it is.
All right.
Yep. That'll do it.
All right. Good game. A few notes for next time, I guess, on what timing issues maybe.
Yeah, just small things to like clean up on sequencing, but this was a very favorable matchup in testing. So and especially with the ban list for this event, not having Iron Throne as a weapon against Prince is another reason why we're seeing Greyjoy Prince really like across a number of teams, because Balon just does Balon things. If you
Right.
don't have an answer, it's over.
Just right. Hasn't been restricted yet. All right, cool. So that makes this 5-1 USA. So USA's won the matchup there. I think that means the chances that CT actually plays a match this round goes down, given the
Yeah,
Yeah, he'll
weird
just
scheduling difficulties.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
guy still hasn't responded. I was just playing my
Champions of Westeros.
Champions Westeros League with Jamie or with CT because we got matched this round.
All right, but we're still gonna stream one more match today in hour and 20 minutes. If anybody still wants to show up for that, we got what is that's gonna be Dustin's game.
Yeah, Dustin versus Gabriel. Excuse me, Dustin against Robert. Yeah, it's a Bera Night's Watch.
Yep. Okay. All right, that'll be in 80 minutes at 2 o'clock Pacific. So see everybody then.
See
Thanks
you
for
then.
helping out with the commentary, guys. All right. Thanks very much.